5 minutes. Could you not be yourself? For 5 minutes!
Remember when you'd buy a game back in the day and it would actually work? No day one patches or updates needed. Just cast your mind back to those times. We are no longer in those times, people. FC24 is broken at launch, and here is everything wrong with manager career, player career, and general gameplay issues that are plaguing the game that I could find within hours of playing. Just to showcase to you guys and document the unpolished lack of quality product EA have been releasing and the current state they've decided to kick off this brand new FC era in. New game, new name, same old franchise problems, baby. Look, FIFA 20's launch was bad. That was broken, but this is up there with one of the worst launches an EA FIFA game has ever had. I know for a fact that some of these issues can be easily patched in future updates, but this release now fix later mentality in modern gaming just grinds my gears thinking about it. And we're not dealing with an upcoming indie developer here. EA is a multi-billion-dollar corporation that have been pumping these games out for years, so I'm not gonna hold back. Deep diving into the real issues as I've compiled everything that I could find and that's been sent to me, but as always, if I've missed anything, let me know down in the comments below. Let's kick off with the newly added features and everything wrong in manager career.
Wake up. I said wake the fuck up. Sleepy time's over, little motherfucker. Let's go.
The new tactical view, one of the main headline features that EA were promoting. It's that first person view, the touchline, like you're there at game day. But however, it's actually probably the worst view you could ever have, as they've butchered this feature just for the touchline cam, because basically you're just watching your manager's back the entire time. You're not actually him. You can barely see what's going on, and it doesn't help when Pep Guardiola's just standing there menacingly blocking your view the entire time. There's no first person view for manager or player, and you can't speed up the game like you could do in PES 2021. Back when that game had an actual career mode, Master League, you could speed up the game, you could fly through it, or you could take it tactically and slow, but there are just none of these options in FC24. The new coaching staff system has launched in a broken state because releasing coaches crashes your game. Not only that, it freezes you out of everything, so you can't back out, it's soft locks you can't select anything, and you're just forced to quit and start the game up again. So we're already off to a great start here already. Like, did the dev team even bother testing this game? Like, we're the beta testers right now. No matter what console you're on, everyone is experiencing this issue, and it's gone unaddressed by EA. Like, someone would have figured this out in the first 5 minutes of playing, because the game prompts you to hire coaches as soon as you load up a new career. So the fact that they didn't even catch this and haven't fixed it from the beta at launch just tells me everything you need to know. Now, this is a mid-video intervention / update here, because to make matters worse, EA, without telling anyone, they have completely removed the release coach feature from the game. They haven't even bothered trying to fix it or letting people know when a fix is coming, because you can only hire people now. I can't get rid of William Butler even if I tried. Usually you'd have a command at the bottom asking if you wanted to release a coach, but now it's just no longer there, and you're just stuck with whoever you choose until your staff capacity increases at the end of the season. But this is just, I don't even know what is going on. I'm starting to lose my mind. Like, imagine if they did this with every other broken feature. Just take it out entirely. We wouldn't even have a game left to play. More lack of care and the no attention to detail keeps on coming with these new features, because with the new coach staff management and the training plans, random game code just appears on the menu and text overlaps everywhere, and it's pretty common too in the main menu, and EA just saw this and thought that's a perfectly fine way to have the game look. Again, 1 minute of playing this game and they would have seen that issue in time to fix it for launch. Now, with the new tactical visions, you only get 7 to choose from, which I find baffling, because there is no way there are only 7 playstyles of football around the world. That is just lazy. And then as soon as you start customizing your own tactical vision, you get an email saying it's a bad idea, you should change it back, otherwise realize the players will struggle in the short term and you need to rehire your entire coaching staff just to get the best out of them, and that's hard enough considering you can't fire anyone and you have a maximum staff capacity, so it's kind of just screwing you over. And don't even get me started about the emails from your training plans. As soon as you change one on a player or the entire team, the assistant manager just tells you to stop changing them, and like every time you try and tinker or experiment with something, the game has something to say about it. Of course, the tactical visions aren't dynamic and the CPU isn't smart enough to change them over time. For example, Wolves in your save are going to be playing kick and rush until 2038, and there's nothing you can do about it. It won't change. They won't adjust their tactics no matter who they sign. It's kick and rush to the moon, baby. There is no nuance to the CPU AI. We have the same old signed player cutscenes from FIFA 23, and EA couldn't even be bothered to add one new one. Like, come on, I have watched the same thing over and over again, not to mention the new manager cutscene hasn't changed since FIFA 22. And somehow, the transfer cutscenes are still bugged. Players are showing up in the wrong kits, holding up a Real Madrid kit, being presented in the OG free agents kit. It is just an absolute mess. And I understand, maybe if they added a few more cutscenes or an entirely new one, that there'd be these issues, but literally nothing has changed from FIFA 23. So how these visual glitches and errors have snuck their way through, it is literally a mystery. And your managers still glitch into a full kit wanker in the menus, and there is nothing you can do to change their appearance.
Why is this happening? Why is this a glitch?
Another new feature, the pre-match report, gives you no key players sometimes. It just doesn't bother working.
What is the point of having the report if you're not going to tell me any key defensive or key attacking players?
Even when you're coming up against big teams.
Bernardo Silva is their only key attacking player. How is Haaland not a key attacking player? I don't know if it's kind of like, yeah, you already know that, so we don't really need to tell you. You kind of need to focus more on Bernardo Silva. Don't worry about him. You need to worry about a center midfielder, Bernardo Silva. That's their key attacking player, which he is a key attacking player. Oh, you're saying Haaland's not a key attacking player? Well, he scored 6 goals and 1 assist in 8 appearances. Okay, Bernardo Silva has 3 assists. I guess he's instrumental in the attack, you could say. He's a key playmaker, or he's a key midfielder. But key attacker? I mean, Kevin De Bruyne on 9 goal contributions. Jack Grealish, Erling Haaland. None of them highlighted in the pre-match report. Ruben Diaz plays golf now? No, not a key defensive player. Alright then. No key defenders either. They're just all useless, apparently. There's nothing I should know about Sutalo, who's been wanted by all these European clubs. We've come up against Man City, Ajax, no key defenders whatsoever. But a 1-star Doncaster Rovers squad, trust me, you gotta watch out for them.
It doesn't tell you why they're a key player. Sometimes it has defending players as key attacking players.
EA think we're living in 2012 and Ashley Young is an attacking winger because he's a key attacking player for Everton. I just want to let you guys know as well, just in case you come up against him, because a 40-year-old Ashley Young is a key attacking player for Everton. They actually do have a key defender, which Man City didn't have. Apparently Ben Godfrey is better than Ruben Diaz. Beto, the new striker they bought on deadline day, no, I bet he scored no goals. Nah, no attacking threat whatsoever, Beto. Jack Harrison, no, he's no threat to an attack. Maybe he scored a boatload of goals, who knows? Ashley Young, he's key in the attack, boys, and he's put zeros across the board. No goals, no assists. Key attacker though. He's just that guy apparently. It's 2012 all over again.
And to think this feature was in FIFA 09 has been removed without anyone realizing. Everyone's forgot about it, and that game did it better. Like, it actually told you why they were a key player and the stats that they had to boast. I've got to tell you guys this stuff, man. I've got to put you on because no one else in the scene is calling this out. The big teams on a number of occasions still play reserve players, academy players against you even, like sometimes 60, 50 rated players in the Premier League if you're a smaller team. And not only that, they can field players out of position. I've seen like Rodri at cam, Tapsoper at centre mid, Man City having a boner for playing a no-faced O'Reilly at cam. This is another minor bug that just seems to pop up every year. They say and claim that the AI have been improved, but time and time again, you start to see the weirdest things happen. Another small immersion killer is when you view the team stats from the pre-match report. There's a visual glitch where all the players are just playing for a different team. It's just an annoying visual glitch that someone hasn't been bothered to patch out. When you want to change a player's kit number, there's a random visual glitch with every other number that appears on screen. And the training development plans have been the same since FIFA 21, and you still can't train traits or new play styles to your players permanently. Just the same old plans that haven't been improved on or added, the same exact presets and position conversions. The only way to apply temporary playstyles for one game only is by manually doing the training, which by the third or fourth drill becomes extremely repetitive and boring. Like, why can't you just sim the training? And why can't you choose the player you want to assign a certain playstyle to? The game just sets you up with certain playstyles you can apply to specific players, and it's just very unstreamlined in my opinion. It could have been implemented a lot better. Playstyles have apparently replaced traits, but depending on what menu you click on, sometimes they're playstyles, sometimes they're traits. In the squad hub, they're traits. In the transfer hub, they're playstyles. Yeah, I'm giving up. If a youth academy player you found has generated in with no playstyles or traits whatsoever, yeah, you can't train any. You can only give them temporary ones. If you get a perfect A rating, anything under that, and you've just wasted your time. EA are proving that they actually don't know how to update their game without removing things. With every new patch update or squad update, there are always player faces and manager faces getting removed and then re-added for no reason. Recently, it was Company and Rafa Benitez who were just removed. On launch, it was Ten Hag, even though he was in FIFA 23, and now he's just hasn't been added back into FC 24. It's kind of like how Darwin Núñez had a face scan, had all of his tattoos in FIFA 23, but now in FC 24, it looks like he's fresh out of the tattoo removal salon. Talking about players, when they appear in the menus or in the new style cutscenes, I don't know, there's something about them this year. They just look bulky. Boulder shoulders, hunchbacks, you name it. Players are looking swole this year, depending on their body type. If they're stocky, if they're a little bit thick, they're going to appear like the Incredible Hulk in the menus and look like they're about to burst out of their jersey. Speaking of news graphics, they're still as glitched as ever. Like, transfer new style cutscenes are still bugging, random highlights and key moments reported from the game, players hunched over and looking down when they sign for a new club. Like, I can go on forever, and it's been like that ever since its addition in FIFA 18. Like, you're guaranteed to see something wild in the news articles, whether it's a GIF, whether it's text. The Frostbite engine just isn't built for this. Now, if you ask any career mode enthusiast right now what their main problem is, it's going to be the removal of the game day broadcast. By that, I mean the match build up and the lineups being showcased before the game. That's been taken out as you load into a game with like 20 seconds or sometimes even less of pre-match cutscenes, depending on what the storyline is, and it just throws you straight into the kickoff. I mean, it's quick getting into a game, and this is on new gen consoles only. Apparently in old gen, it's still there. They've purposely taken it out of the game, and I get it for like Ultimate Team and online modes, but when it's career mode and you're deep into the immersion, when you want to soak up the game day atmosphere and see your team being announced, it's just a nice thing to have for realism's sake. This was an unnecessary removal, and apparently it's been replaced by the new quote-unquote unrivaled match day experience that EA kept banging on about in the marketing and hype of this game. But contrary to what EA believe, the match day experience is probably the worst it's ever been. At least like the Xbox 360 and PS2 had the lineups and players coming out of the tunnel and all the pre-game hype. It just completely ruins immersion. It's one of the main gripes people have, and for good reason, because even if you didn't want to see the lineups and the build up to the game, you could skip it by just pressing A. I don't get why they had to remove it. It's not a bug. This was intentional. That also means the Champions League anthem and the pre-game, you know, players standing in a line listening to the song, that's no longer in the game, whether it's the group stage or even the biggest of them all, the Champions League final. You just get those 20 seconds of pre-match cutscenes and then you're thrown straight into the deep end. Yeah, the song is playing in the background, but it's just not the same, and EA need to bring this back ASAP. Talking about the Champions League or winning just any trophy in general, there has been no change to title winning celebrations on the pitch. Yeah, I know there's that end of season open top bus parade with all the silverware you've won, but there has been zero change since like FIFA 19 with the post-game celebrations, whether you win the league, a cup, or the coveted Champions League. The exact same animations play out, and it's not even close. If you've seen the celebrations from FIFA 19, you've seen them in FC 24. It's the same type beat where the Super Bowl celebrations were the exact same in Madden, another EA franchise for like 10 years. I haven't touched on the lighting yet in this game, but it's just completely busted. busted. When you're playing in the afternoon, the shadows, the light, just looks horrible sometimes. Even in the menu, before you're in a game, the lighting and like the smoke just decides to cut out of the background. Depending on what you do, depending on what menu you go into, it's just super distracting and weird to see like random flickers in the background. Honestly, playing this, it feels like your game is about to crash at any second. Another major tournament, the World Cup, has been removed, and for obvious reasons, as it returns in an unlicensed state called the Men's International Cup. And better yet, EA can't even replicate the same 32 team World Cup format because there is only 30 national teams in the game. Yeah, that's right, 30. And a number so low that the FIFA 98 World Cup video game had a whopping 5 times more, with over 172 playable nations. Gone of the days of having over 200 nations in a FIFA title. No more standalone World Cup games. Not even the mainline game in the franchise can save it, because they have lost pretty much all the African teams. Australia's been removed. There's no Brazil, and you're lucky you can even do the Euros, because they still haven't updated the tournament format in the Euros. The rules and formats still go by the same 2012 4 groups of 4, where the rules and number of teams have changed ever since Euro 2016. And when it comes to outdated stats and rules, EA haven't updated any of them. So in the Coppa Italia, for example, away goals have been removed. However, in FC 24 career mode, they still exist, and player records like the Golden Boot record in the Prem is still 32, even though Haaland last season, the cover star, the poster boy of this game, broke it with 36. EA haven't been bothered to change it or update any of the new stats and records, so it's just a classic showcase of their lack of care and the attention to detail that is missing in this mode. Some teams' third kits still haven't been added into the game, and they just appear either not there or as a generic black and white jersey. But hey, thankfully the Nike/EA collab kits were available on launch in Ultimate Team. When you select either a created or real manager in career mode, the same presets are there to select from that have been there since FIFA 22. And of course, when it comes to real managers, not all of them have game face scans, which is forgiving. However, leagues and other competitions like have missing managers. For example, Ligue 1 only have the PSG manager, Germany only have Dortmund. However, in the third Liga, the third division of Germany, they've got every single manager. There are still no real championship managers in the game. There's not an unemployed manager section. So let's say Erik ten Hag gets the sack later in the season, he's going to be removed from the game, and you can't select him whatsoever. He's just not going to be there. The CPU managers in your save still don't get sacked or retire, so you'll make it to like 2035, and Roy Hodgson will still be in charge of Crystal Palace at age 88. There are also instances where managers decide to be a little too transparent with their players, and because they don't have the license to the Ligue 1 and Bundesliga managers for some reason, in Ultimate Team, they have to find random stock photos to make their cards in game. I'm not kidding. We've got receipts. We've caught them in 4K. Now, when it comes to transfers in career mode, this has been the most egregious scripted things I've ever seen in the game. Like, there are always the same players that move to the same clubs. For example, Balde to Man City, Ciro Immobile to Real Madrid is a guaranteed. Talisca to Juventus I've seen many a times. Trent always leaves Liverpool in the first transfer window. Gavi always gets sold by Barcelona. Matoma always goes to Bayern. I don't think I've seen it this bad since the classic FIFA 13 Rooney to Barcelona or FIFA 16 David Alaba to Juventus. I'm serious. Start a new career save and you'll see 90% of these transfers actually happen in the first summer transfer window. No matter what team you are, no matter where you are, Ciro Immobile will be bought by Los Blancos. Like, there's nothing you can do.
Oh, of course, Immobile. This might be the most scripted transfer I've ever seen. Like, it just always happens to me, no matter what.
In contract negotiations, you can still only offer a max of 5 years and not 6 or 7 like Chelsea have been doing in real life. Even though the rules have changed, you still can't put 9 subs on the bench like in real life. You still can't see or have access to historical stats for your players from seasons gone by or player stats from other leagues. For example, you loan a player out to Serie A and you're wondering how he performed. The game only lets you see the stats from the competition your team played in, and everything else just comes up as 0. Talking about player stats, that has been the same since FIFA 13. Presentation wise, everything else, it has not changed whatsoever. Talking about things that haven't changed, manager press conferences. That has been the same format since it was introduced in FIFA 20. Whether it's the pre-game or post, it's just a morale boosting activity that you must complete, otherwise you're getting the sack and everyone everyone's gonna hate you, all your players are gonna submit a transfer request. Talking about sacking, in my personal playthroughs and just when I was testing out, experimenting in career mode, I was sacked weeks after winning the Champions League, both on separate occasions, and the treble with Man City. I'm not joking. We won the Mickey Mouse treble with Man City, got sacked the next day, and then in one of my rebuilds, I won the Champions League with Chelsea. Off camera, I simulated a couple of weeks, and next season, I was given the boot. You could also still be sacked if you apply too low of a release clause to your players' contracts, even though their agent has no problem with you doing so. When it comes to the menu overlays and the aesthetics, the Premier League, La Liga, MLS, Bundesliga, and European competitions are the only menu lays, and there is no Serie A one. Still, after all these years, and after EA and Serie A have partnered up, they've only been bothered to add the new broadcast package. Other than that, nothing takes effect in the menus. What they have changed is the new La Liga background from that unique camo green feel to this red and black overlay, which looks exactly like the Bundesliga one. So La Liga has lost all that charm and vibe about it in the menus, and they both look pretty much identical to each other. Even though it was widely reported and rumored, this is one of the first FIFA games in a while that haven't featured a brand new league in the game. Not only that, they have less teams than last year. Now, when it comes to the free agency, something that every other sports title seems to get right. NBA 2K, a fellow EA title, Madden, however in FIFA, it just gets neglected. This year, there are a couple of high-profile players in the free agency, like David De Gea, Eden Hazard, but in terms of FIFA, they've just been completely removed. Now, the free agency just consists of random Mexican and Qatari national team players, plus fake players spawning into the free agency depending on what squad update you have. Every other sports title, if a high-profile player doesn't have a team, they just get put into the free agency. But for some reason, EA decide to just remove them from the game entirely, and you have to wait until they actually sign for someone in real life for them to be added back in. Kind of like what happened with Papu Gomez after he got released from Sevilla, now recently signed with Monza, he's been added. It's just basically the home for random regens and youth academy players to spawn, and doesn't actually represent the free agents currently in real life. It's just the players whose leagues have been removed and their national teams are still in the game, so EA have got to put them somewhere. I'm extremely angered to report that there have been no major changes to the youth academy. That's right, the game still generates bold 15-year-olds, players that look like they're in their 50s, but they're actually 16.
I've just signed him because he's bold. Chi Hu-an, the bold 15-year-old.
And there are no new countries to scout in. EA would look like kind of treading on the right path when they added more in FIFA 22, and then for some reason they just stopped and couldn't be bothered adding any more countries. There are no youth teams, the player name pools are just so limited that, you know, if you scout in Ukraine, you get 15 Kovalenkos, and it's just so depressing that such a small feature, like actually selecting what position you want your scouts to bring back, gets celebrated like this.
Would you look at that? You can now actually look for a specific position in Youth Academy. Oh, this is sick. Yes!
The homegrown talent got removed, and there is no under 17s team. There's no like second squad, kind of like how a Brentford have in real life, their B team. There is nothing you can actually do with them besides train them up with development plans and hope they become good enough for you to promote them. And once you delete them from your academy, they are gone forever and they cease to exist. Career mode, it's all about simulating and going into the future, seeing what it holds. However, a mechanic in the game that hasn't changed since like FIFA 12 is that you can only go 15 seasons into the future. That's right, 2038 is where it all ends. The game forces you to retire like all the other years prior and just boots you out of the game. It gives you a quick career summary and then you're out of there. No special send-off, no animation or cutscene, no tribute to your manager and all you've achieved in 15 years. It is just copy and pasted from every single FIFA since FIFA 12, and it's quite sad. And this probably infuriates me the most because other games like NBA, you can go 80 years into the future. Madden, another EA title, and again I have to bring that up because it goes 30 years into the future, doubles FIFA. And Football Manager, don't even get me started on that, you can go thousands of years into the future. There is no time limit on that game. Even with all these next gen consoles and the new technology and hardware available, they haven't been able to crack the 15-year mark. The game gives up and it can't generate any new players or regens. It just, the game code decides to crash in on itself. Talking about EA updates, when they actually decide decide to add things into the game like player faces, new kits, new stadiums, all the newly added content in patches don't apply to your old saves. And this has been the case ever since the dawn of time. You need to start a completely new career for you to see those changes and new things added into your game. Otherwise, if you go back into an old save, none of the new content is there, even though Konami figured that out on PES Master League. Now, I don't know if this one makes me laugh or cry, but they've promised sponsored kit templates in Creator Club, which I wasn't getting excited for. I knew they were going to fumble the bag somehow, but it's legit just promoting the game and not actual real life sponsors. There's an FC24 sponsor, there's an EA sponsor, a Frostbite sponsor. Like, who would want these? Nevertheless, Creator Club continues to get depressing year on year as there are the same kit selections, the same crest selections, whilst Volta gets the opportunity and privilege to choose from hundreds of unique club badges. We've had to deal with the same for like 3 years now, and you still can't play in real life stadiums like you can do in pro clubs. It's the same generic EA branded stadiums that you can just customize, like the stand colors, the goal nets, the pitch, but you can't actually build anything and see the evolution of your stadium. You can only change it to whatever EA provides you. However, in pro clubs and in foot, they have such a different and more expansive stadium customization. There is no actual custom stadium builder. However, the system that pro clubs and Ultimate Team get is just levels above what you get given in Creator Club and Career Mode. You can upgrade your tiers, add tifos, add trophies that you win on the pitch. Like, it is just a completely new level, and Career Mode fans and players have been left in the dust. In pro clubs, you get a trophy cabinet of all the silverware you've won, but it's not in Career Mode. Like, who thought of that idea and didn't think that could also apply to Career Mode? No hate to pro clubs whatsoever. I'm a pro clubs enjoyer myself, but they get fan numbers and a reputation level, and the higher your reputation level, the more you can unlock, the better you can upgrade your stadium and your players. It actually means something and has an impact upon your experience. It gives you something to grind towards. Why isn't this in Career Mode and a new feature? I have no idea, but watch them come out next year in FC25, add this stuff in from pro clubs and claim it as new features. Like, I will be there no matter what to dislike that YouTube video. Not only that though, the player customization in pro clubs is by far way superior to that of Career Mode, because in pro clubs you get more accessories, you get more hair, you can access new cosmetics, and you can unlock them in the Volta shop. Now, if you were to buy all the cosmetics in this shop, you'd be maybe set back just over $100. However, the best part is it doesn't transfer to other game modes like Player Career or Creator Player. It's just Volta and Pro Clubs exclusive, all for you to unlock it and buy it again in FC25 11 months from now, because you already know that it won't carry over because EA need to suck every last cent out of you.
I kept scrolling through all these bundles they've got available. They've got clothes, they've got jackets, they've got helmets, headgear, sunglasses, a face mask, plus a helmet in this bundle that I have to spend $10, $20 on. I didn't realize how many things they locked behind a paywall. I thought it was only these three. And what is even worse than all these bundles, what they're also locking behind a paywall is the most useless item, like in Manager Career, in Player Career. Socks. That's right, socks. Which you can't even see because your player is wearing shoes and or boots. Whether you're in Volta, Manager Career, Player Career, they're not long socks. They're not the socks you play football in. A normal white pair of socks. You don't even know what socks people are wearing because you can't see them. And they're paying, what? How much is 50 FIFA football? I don't need to convert this shit. 50 cents for a pair of socks you can't even see. Like grey ankle socks. You definitely can't see that. Is anyone gonna buy all these socks? Like, do you really have to make that much money where you're spending real world money on socks? Socks? You're charging money for socks? The pink socks that you can't see? I get you can unlock it by actually playing the game. Like, usually you'd be able to unlock these things in the EA catalog, but they got rid of that in FIFA 21. But it wasn't locked behind a paywall. You actually had to earn the items you got unlocked. Charging for facial hair is another one where I'm just like, why? Do you really think there is that much bank to be made by selling facial hair, facial accessories? They're charging $1 a headband, boys. $1 for a virtual headband. You can't do face tats though. That's another thing. They've added tattoos, but you can't add face tats. You can have a do-rag. Maybe that was in previous Voltas, but no one played it to know. Oh, at least they're not charging for bloody kits. That would have made me lose my mind. I would have flip my desk. Why can't we unlock retro kits anymore like we used to do back in the catalog days? And you could actually use them in pretty much every game mode. It wouldn't be just Volta. You could use them in kickoff, career mode, all the retro jerseys you'd be able to unlock in the EA catalog. I don't know why this has to be mode exclusive.
Despite this already being the most expensive FIFA game of all time, this month, sneakily, with the hope of nobody noticing, EA have removed all FIFA games from online stores. Whether you go on the PlayStation Store, Xbox, hell, even on PC with the EA app, the only way you can play is if you have the physical disc or you've already downloaded the physical version on your console. Otherwise, they're just forcing you to play FC24, this utter broken mess. They're trying to erase history. They're trying to shove the past under a rug, and I'm not having it. Believe it or not, that was only the first section of this video. Onwards and upwards to Player Career.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Player Career is in kind of the same boat as Manager. Like, it could be so much more, however, it gets neglected even more than Manager Career Mode does. EA are leagues behind the rest. They're in a different stratosphere. Like, NBA's My Player is just in a different stratosphere. When you compare these side by side, it is a night and day difference. Just like in Manager Mode, it's the same 15 season time limit. You get that old retirement email, and there is no special email or news article or cutscene for your farewell retirement game. Unlike in PES 2021 Become a Legend, where you get a send-off game, there's a full cutscene, a tribute to your career. Like, they could have easily just stolen that of PES and it would be better than what they already have. But no, that would be way too much effort. But hey, at least you can buy a speaker that you can't actually use with your wages. Here's just a random funny one I found. You can't do a real Player Career Mode with this player Linger at Feyenoord. For some reason, he's just grayed out and you can't select him. Like, someone please let me know down in the comments why this would be an issue, why this would be a thing. Is this EA just being incompetent, or is this just a genuine glitch? In the pitch notes for Player Career, EA claimed you could become a free agent in Player Career Mode, but you can't. You can only select a new club if you're eligible, or you're forced to go out on loan to a random team. You can't actually just wait for offers to come your way, chill out, be a free agent for a while. It forces you to choose your next path. And the key to your next path in Player Career is your player agent, which is probably one of the most useless features ever. And even though they're useless, you can't even choose or pick or decide or have any say in the matter about who your agent is. It's just whatever random photo pops up there, that's your manager for the rest of your life, for the rest of your career. There's no ifs or buts about it. Another new feature that is completely broken and has had issues is the player agent demands, because you get some weird ones like score bicycle kicks, score top corner goals. The Player Career objectives are just absolutely wild. Like 3 bicycle kick goals in one season. The best players in the world are lucky to score 1 throughout their entire career, and they want you to score 3 bicycle kick goals in a campaign to continue playing with Chelsea. Make it make sense. Just make it make sense. It's reported that top corner goals actually aren't even counting, so you could score like 100 goals for your club that season, but if 2 of them weren't in the top corner, that's it. You're not good enough to get your contract renewed. You're booted out the club and forced to leave. The new Ballon d'Or fully licensed cutscene is something new in the game, and if your player gets nominated for the Ballon d'Or but doesn't win, you don't get the full cutscene. You kind of find out in the news title articles, so it ruins the kind of suspense and like the event of it all. You'll know your player wins if you get that cutscene. I feel like for all it's worth, after they hyped it up for that long, they could have executed it a little bit better. And do you remember those 5-slot training drills that we introduced back in FIFA 16 that were removed in FIFA 21? Yeah, that's right, they're still here in Player Career Mode almost 10 years later. And if you retire pretty quickly or just straight away, you get the option to sign for so many teams. It is just actually broken. Like, why would Burnley want a recently retired Jadon Sancho to be their manager? It's just something that doesn't make sense. I don't know why this happens, but it does. Now, onto gameplay. Say what you want about it. It feels slow, it feels too fast, the dribbling's broken, the game feels weird, passes don't connect. I've just come to the conclusion that no matter what EA do to the gameplay, it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. They can't make everyone happy. But what they can do, for one, is stop players turning invisible.
What is going on? What went on there? What the bloody hell went on there? What the Jesus Christ went on there? You can't do that on a career mode. I'm fighting for my bloody life. and the Invisible Man's playing for Bournemouth. This is not a drill. What is going on?
Bro, give me a break. Like, EA, is there one day we can go without discovering a new glitch in this game? You know how many times I've had to update this video? I like dropping fun facts on you guys, and one of them is that Ter Stegen's face in-game hasn't changed in 10 years. Yes, over 2 generations of consoles, a decade dating back to FIFA 14 on the Xbox 360. After he even revived his hairline a couple of years back, EA haven't rewarded him or rescanned him into the game. It's his FIFA 14 game face model in FC 24. I know Barcelona have like a partnership with Konami and PES, but come on. It's clown show levels of behavior up there with Gareth Bale not being an icon in FC 24. However, he is in the golf game PGA Tour 24. His head model fully scanned and actually in the game, and he is repping Golf Wales Madrid in that order. It's not just players that are turning invisible, looking like they're on steroids. It's also the crowd that have been done dirty here, because take a look at this.
Why is the crowd doing its best KKK impression? Oh my lord, whoa. Oh no. No. We've just seen a mannequin invasion at Old Trafford right before our eyes.
Players also have their hair glitching out if they have like long type hair or the dynamic strand based hair. It just clips and causes the screen to malfunction, especially with the likes of Matoma, Grealish. Their hair spazzes out if you skip the game cutscenes too quickly or in the instant replays. It's just a mess. Players start twitching out and doing weird movements in game.
You can see David Beckham with a bunda and a half. I don't know if that's sus to say, but like, why is Anthony tweaking? Why is Anthony tweaking? Anthony is tweaking.
After EA made such a big fuss about AFC Richmond and Ted Lasso being added into FIFA 23 and marked it as like a brand new feature, only 1 year later, both the club and the manager have been removed from the game. They're no longer in FC 24. I don't know whether that's a thing they had an agreement with FIFA or there's something else to do, licenses involved. They stopped their partnership. You can't become Ted Lasso, you can't control AFC Richmond. It was only a FIFA 23 exclusive. Not only me, but everyone else just finds goalkeepers being extremely inconsistent and stupid at times at the near post. They make it extremely hard to keep a clean sheet, or they just parry the ball straight to the opposition, completely miss it entirely. They haven't been this broken since like FIFA 15, I reckon. Like, goalkeepers, usually they're not the best, but they are really bad this year. They've ruined the practice arena this year with the free roam 1v1. Like, technically you can do it, but every time you kick the ball at the goalkeeper, the game just resets you back to the halfway line, so it's not like a continuous flow of play. You can't activate a free kick or penalty using the D-pad when you're on the pitch, and you can't select the player or goalkeeper you want to use in the practice arena. It's whoever you've chosen as your favorite club. And they've added back like the real life stadiums you can train in and practice in, but you can't even choose what real life stadium you want to go into. It's like a random mix up between the Etihad, Anfield, and the Bernabeu. Basically, they've added more random useless things to it, like you can practice with multiple players, but like the core OG practice arena is a shell of itself. The game's been out for over 3 weeks now, and at the time of recording, we've only had 2 title updates so far, and they've only addressed stability issues on PC, and the second one addressed an Ultimate Team menu glitch. So if you're expecting any fixes for any of this stuff, please lower your expectations for at least before Christmas. Like, the bar is in hell. Apparently, EA and the team are aware of a couple of these issues I've pointed out so far and are working on it. And by the time you're seeing this, they might be fixed already. But, you know, this is how the game launched in the first opening weeks, where it makes a lasting impression on people. And even though the bugs and glitches aren't completely game breaking, there's only a couple, like the visual glitches and just the errors present in the game right now, it's impossible to ignore. And they just build up, like the little things, they compile, and it just ruins the experience because you just start to come across them so often. No matter how minor, the game is just in a terrible state right now and needs some extreme polish if it wants to be anywhere near playable. Now, we must remember, this is practically the only realistic football simulation game on the market. PES, or eFootball as it's called now, has turned into a glorified mobile game Ultimate Team ripoff with no career mode, no player career, but still is somehow able to steal some of the best licenses away from EA. And Football Manager is ultra realistic, however, is missing missing the one thing that FIFA has, and that's actual gameplay that the user can control. I've said it in a video before, but I'd just be recommending you to keep FIFA 23 if you're on PC, download all the mods, get all the licensed teams, new leagues back, new kits and players in the game, and just all the little things that make the FIFA experience so much more enjoyable. Until all these issues and bugs get resolved, I'd recommend just wait for a sale. Either Christmas or Black Friday's coming up, and maybe by then FC24 will be at least playable and 90% of these bugs will be eradicated. But don't hold your breath. And honestly, it pains me to make these kinds of videos. I just want to play it, enjoy my time, and make the best content possible on the game and just have fun with it. But all these bugs, glitches, and issues are ruining the experience. Let me know when you guys think these will be fixed by, and if FC25 is going to be any better. Anyways, that's everything I could find and everything wrong with FC24 career mode right now. Let me know what I've missed down in the comments below, what you've encountered in your playthroughs. If you've made it this far, drop the video a like down below, show some support, hit subscribe, and turn on all the notifications for the channel down below. As always, I've been your boy Sir BCHD. Have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the very next video. EA, man, just fix career mode before I end it all.